if you've given up, I will call an end to this. I will be a rock from my perch. If you walk the ridge, you will find the marks, the scars. Kneel down by the tree under the setting star. We never say goodbye. I'll take you with me everywhere I go. I'll put you in my pocket, who will know? Right next to my heart at every show. I'll take you with me everywhere I go.
Good afternoon, everyone. In about 3 minutes, we'll get the ceremony started. So if you can finish up your conversations and find your seats, we'll get started in just a moment. All right. Good afternoon. My name is Holger Dura, and I'm the fire chief for the City of Prescott Fire Department. And we are so honored that you have chosen to spend your afternoon remembering our 19 fallen brothers. The ceremony will include fire service traditions. And when we ask you to stand, if you're able, at those times in the program, we would ask that you do so. All right. So with that, honor guard, by your command.
Ready? Halt. Side step. Arc. Left.
trueno, porque lo vas a hacer sobre esto que está pesando todo. Ok, ahorita sí voy.
Prescott, out.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order! Oh!
At this time, I'd like to ask Marco Espetita to join us for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. In the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in them gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land and of the free and the home of the brave.
If you could remain standing, we're gonna go next into our invocation. Prescott Fire Chaplain Jeremy Brinkerhoff will lead us in that.
Would you please pray with me? Father, thank you for this day that we can gather to commemorate this sacrifice made 10 years ago. Thank you for this community that has stood by the families and each other, and that through these connections that you have brought healing and encouragement. Because of the way these men strove to live authentic lives, they left behind a legacy that has positively impacted us to this very day. Lord, we are grateful these men were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for others. May we be reminded of the sacrifice you made so that we could be in close relationship with you, and that through this relationship we can experience true hope, perfect peace, and abiding joy. I invite you into this service. Be honored as we honor the crew. Amen.
You may be seated. At this time, I'd like to ask Brendan McDonough to join us in reading the Hot Shot Prayer.
When I am called to duty, Lord, to fight the roaring blaze, please keep me safe and strong. I may be here for days. Be with my fellow crew members as we hike to the top. Help us cut enough line for this blaze to stop. Let my skills and hands be firm and quick. Let me find those safety zones as we hit and lick. For if this day on the line I should answer death's call, Lord, bless my hotshot crew, my family, one and all.
At this time, I'm going to ask our operations chief, Ralph Lucas, to join us for a traditional bell ceremony.
This is the history and tradition of the ringing of the firefighter's bell. The men and women of today's fire service are confronted with a more dangerous work environment than ever before. We must continually change our strategies and our tactics to accomplish our missions and tasks. Our methods may change, but our goals remain the same as they were in the beginning, and that is to save lives and to protect property, sometimes at a terrible, terrible cost. This is what we do. This is our chosen profession. This is the tradition of the firefighter. And while the fire service of today is ever changing, we are also steeped in traditions more than 200 years old. One such tradition is the sounding of the bell. In the past, as firefighters began their tour of duty, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of that call or that day's shift. Throughout the day and the night, each alarm was sounded by a bell, which summoned these brave souls to fight fires and to place their lives in jeopardy to give their fellow citizens a fighting chance. And when the fire was out and the alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled to all the completion of that call and the return to their homes or their quarters. When a firefighter died, giving their life in the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty, it was the mournful toll of the bell that solemnly announced a comrade's passing. We seek strong words, symbols, and music to help us when we lose someone. And today we use these words, symbols, and music to express our feelings, our passion, our sorrow, and our respect for our fellow brothers, their families, their crews, and their friends. And so, to our brothers, these earthly tasks have been complete. Your duties have been well done. The pipes and bells now toll for you have now gone home. We will now read the names of our fallen brothers. Eric Marsh. Garrett Zupiger. Wade Parker. Chris McKenzie. Clayton Whitted. Travis Carter. Andrew Ashcraft. Dustin DeFord. Travis Turbyfill. Sean Meisner. Grant McKee. Robert Caldwell. Billy Warnicki. Kevin Wojcik. Scott Norris. Anthony Rose. Jesse Steed. Joe Thurston. John Persin Jr. We are ever thankful for our brother, Brendan Donut McDonough.
All right. As I mentioned at the beginning of this ceremony, this is a somber day, but at the same time, it is also a day for community. And it is the community to whom we dedicate this ceremony. Our families are here and they're always in our hearts, and they'll always be primary. But Prescott, the town that it is, the region that we are, this tragedy 10 years ago was shared. Many of you knew one of the 19. They were your Little League players, your son's friends, cousins, neighbors. This tragedy impacted all of you as much as it did the Prescott Fire Department. With that, I want to acknowledge members of the community, our elected officials, members of the public safety community from around the state, our federal partners, and our retired fire chiefs particularly retired Chief Dan Fryho, who was the fire chief 10 years ago at the time of the tragedy. We also have speakers that we'll shortly introduce to you that are aimed at making sure that we meet the mark of sharing their respect with our community. To start, I would like to read a letter from Senator Mark Kelly. Dear attendees of the Granite Mountain Hotshots 10-year commemoration, it is my honor to help commemorate the legacy and service of the 19 Granite Mountain Hotshots. It is with regret that I am not able to attend the commemorative event on June 30th, 2023. However, I reflect on the sacrifice of these brave Prescott, Arizona firefighters. The courage and dedication of the Granite Mountain Hotshots will never be forgotten. On this 10-year anniversary of the Yarnell Hill tragedy, I am thinking about their families, loved ones, and fellow firefighters who are still feeling their loss. We owe them and all the crews currently fighting wildfires across Arizona a great debt of gratitude. Ahead of the 8-year anniversary of the Yarnell Hill Fire, we passed a resolution honoring the Granite Mountain Hotshots. Still, at this moment, thousands of firefighters are risking their lives in grueling conditions, and without question, they deserve better pay and benefits for their service to Arizona and our country. I am dedicated to ensuring that firefighters are well supported and improvements are made to wildfire prevention and response. I hope you have a meaningful day of reflection and remembrance. I'm grateful to the Granite Mountain Hotshot Commemoration Team for your dedication and hard work in making this event successful. My wife, Gabby Giffords, and I send our thoughts and wish you all continued strength. Sincerely, Mark Kelly, United States Senator. At this time, I'd like to introduce the governor of our state, Katie Hobbs.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to be here. Today, we come together to mark 10 years since the tragedy that forever changed so many lives in this community and across Arizona. With each year that passes, our admiration for the Granite Mountain Hotshots endures. When I look at the faces and names of these 19 men and consider the job they signed up for, I think about the love they had for their families, friends, and community. It takes someone with great strength, passion, dedication, and perseverance to sign up for this dangerous job. We're here to honor them because they selflessly answered the call for us. On their last call in June 2013, these men were on a mission to protect the people of Yarnell and Peoples Valley. Even
La 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 la. Yeah, I should probably stand here because this won't hit Chuck if I move.
Good idea. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Is that a good?
and I'm honored to present it to you all today. Whereas on June 28, 2013, dry lightning ignited the Yarnell Hill Fire near Yarnell, Arizona, becoming one of the most publicized events in wildland firefighting history. And whereas on June 30th, 2013, the tragic loss of 19 men from the Granite Mountain Interagency Hotshot crew in the Yarnell Hill Fire forever impacted their families, the Arizona Fire Service, wildland fire community, and all citizens of Arizona. And whereas the Granite Mountain Hotshots continually demonstrated their dedication to Arizona residents in wildland fire education and prevention, along with their courageous efforts to defend communities across the state of Arizona and their hometown of Prescott, Arizona. And whereas an annual memorial event is held to commemorate the 19 fallen Granite Mountain Hotshots, making this June 30th, 2023, the 10-year anniversary. Now, therefore, I, Katie Hobbs, Governor of the state of Arizona, do hereby proclaim June 30th, 2023 as Granite Mountain Hotshots Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Hobbs. We really do appreciate you being here and honoring us with your presence. Our next speaker, I'd like to introduce just briefly our Mayor, Phil Good. And one of the things that he shares with those of us in the fire service is he has too lived a life of service. A veteran himself, he understands what it is to sacrifice everything. And with that, it's my great honor to introduce Mayor Phil Good.
Well, thank you, Chief. It's an honor to address you all today and briefly share some remarks about this very, very momentous event and the 10-year anniversary of it. 10 years, 10 long years, 10 short years. 10 years ago, this community experienced the most tragic, horrible incident anyone in their worst nightmare could imagine. 19 of our community's courageous young men perished fighting the Yarnell wildfire in just a few hellish minutes. The event itself was beyond comprehension when it occurred, and the events that transpired in its aftermath damaged the cohesion of our small town even further. Nearly everyone who lived here then knew one or more of those 19, or a member of their family, or one of their friends. Could anyone truly be prepared to deal with such an incomprehensible event? Not then, and certainly not now. I'm frequently reminded of the verse in Scripture, John 15:13. There is no greater love than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. And let's not forget the 20th member of that crew, Brendan McDonough, who is still with us and able to bear witness. To bear witness to the love they all had for each other as they put themselves in harm's way to protect us from nature's wrath. Well, 10 years since the Yarnell tragedy seems like a long time. Quite frankly, it isn't. The hole in our hearts that used to be filled by the love of a father, husband, son, or friend never disappears, but the pain does lessen over time. They lie interred here together in Prescott's Arizona Pioneers Home Cemetery, and the ground where they lost their lives has been permanently preserved and protected over in Yarnell at the Granite Mountain Hotshots Memorial State Park. We have many memorials here on our courthouse plaza that commemorate those that made the ultimate sacrifice for our protection and freedom, but none had the immediate and extreme impact as the loss of our 19 Granite Mountain Hotshots. We'll soon have a new permanent memorial here on the plaza to commemorate that tragic loss, so we in posterity will never forget. This city, Prescott, Arizona, will not be defined by tragedy. We'll certainly mourn, remember, commemorate, and heal. We're a city that has seen many tragedies and trials over the decades, but has always come together to support each other and emerge stronger. There was much that we learned from that tragedy, and we're far better prepared for wildfire prevention and response than we were then. We're known by the slogan, everybody's hometown, since we genuinely care for our neighbors. We see it every day when we greet and are greeted by a friendly and sincere smile and hello. We experience it by the myriad volunteer organizations that provide assistance and services to our youth, veterans, and seniors. But it's expressed more meaningfully when tragedy strikes. My fervent hope is that we truly never forget. We prepare for the next challenge and maintain that special sense of community support that we all can take so much pride in. Here in this very special place, Prescott, Arizona. May God bless the families, friends, and loved ones who still grieve, and grant them peace and the hope that the memories of this tragedy are somewhat overlaid with the fond memories of the lives of these brave 19 heroes while they were here with us. May God bless Prescott and keep all of our first responders safe as they protect us now and in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Good, and I do want to take a moment to thank the other council members in attendance today, as well as the city manager, Katie Gregory, and our deputy city manager, Tyler Goodman. It is an absolute pleasure and honor working with all of them. At this time, I'd like to introduce one of our main collaborators. The State Forest Service is a statewide agency, and we, of course, interface with these professionals quite a bit. Tom Torres is the recently appointed state forester. He came from the U.S. Forest Service. He is an Arizonan, and it's my pleasure and privilege to introduce him as our next speaker.
Thank you, Chief. It's a pleasure to be here today. Today, as we are here to commemorate the solemn occasion of the 10th anniversary of the ultimate sacrifice made by the Granite Mountain Hotshots. As the Arizona State Forester, I am here today with a heavy heart, but also with immense pride for the brave souls we lost on that fateful day. 10 years ago, a group of exceptional firefighters known as the Granite Mountain Hotshots made the ultimate sacrifice while battling the Yarnell Hill Fire. They were courageous men who faced the dangers of wildfire head-on with unwavering dedication and selflessness. Their devotion to protecting lives and property was unparalleled, and their memory lives on as an inspiration to all, especially wildland firefighters. But inspiration especially to the families, their community, and again, their fellow firefighters who continue to face similar challenges in the ongoing and continuing battle against wildfires in Arizona and across the country. In the face of unimaginable adversity, these brave individuals never wavered. As hotshots, or as they are officially referred to in the fire service as Type 1 interagency, as a Type 1 interagency crew, they represented the elite version of fire crews with advanced levels of qualifications and meeting arduous fitness standards. They understood the risks associated with this designation of hotshot, and they embraced it with determination, unwavering commitment, and an unyielding spirit. The Granite Mountain Hotshots were a testament to the fellowship and teamwork that define the firefighting community. They embody the wildland firefighting values of duty, respect, and integrity. Duty to their community, but especially their duty to each other. Respect for their profession and the risks that they assumed as wildland firefighters. Integrity in their willingness to accept the call of service. They stood shoulder to shoulder, forging an unbreakable bond that transcended their individual roles and backgrounds. Their legacy reminds us of the strength that can be found in unity and the power of working together towards a common purpose. As your Arizona State Forester and a proud member of the Arizona larger collective fire service, I cannot express enough how deeply we mourn the loss of these incredible individuals. We honor their memory by redoubling and rededicating ourselves to the pursuit of safety and excellence in firefighting. And to this day, we still continue to learn from their sacrifice, striving to improve our methods to help ensure that no firefighter should face a similar tragedy. Today, let us remember the Granite Mountain Hotshots not only for their service, but for the lives they saved and the impact they made. Their legacy extends beyond the bounds of their profession and reaches into the hearts of those they've served, especially their community here in Prescott, Arizona. Their legacy is primarily remembered here in Prescott, Arizona, rightfully so. But as members of the larger Union of Wildland Firefighters, their legacy is remembered in the hearts and actions of wildland firefighters beyond Prescott, across the state of Arizona, and across the entire country. They left behind a legacy of hope, resilience, and determination that will forever inspire. And to the families and loved ones who carry the burden of their absence, know that you are still not alone. Our firefighting community stands beside you, offering unwavering support and gratitude for the sacrifices that you have endured. We will continue to honor the memory of your loved ones, ensuring that their sacrifice was not in vain. 10 years ago, I was not the state forester. I served this community as the forest supervisor on the Prescott National Forest. And as many of you all remember, before Yarnell Hill, we had the Dozy Fire. That was a pretty big event. And the Ground Mountain Hotshot served that incident as well, served it honorably. And I feel like I've come full circle from 10 years ago to today in my ability to continue to serve the community of Prescott and the larger state of Arizona. So in conclusion, as we mark this solemn anniversary, let us reflect on the courage and dedication of the Granite Mountain Hotshots. May their memory be a guiding light as we continue to fight wildfires, to protect our communities and the wondrous resources across the state of Arizona. May we never forget their names, their sacrifice, and the extraordinary impact they had on all our lives. Thank you.
One of the hallmarks of the American Fire Service is that we are a brother and sisterhood that takes care of one another. One of the ways that the Fire Service does this is through the IAFF. And we were honored to have General President Kelly in town this morning to meet some of the family members. At this time, I'd like to introduce Tim Hill, who was the Professional Firefighters of Arizona president at the time of the tragedy and was directly involved with many of the families at that time.
Good afternoon, Prescott. Honored families, Madam Governor, Mr. Mayor, Chief Dura, Brendan, brothers and sisters who have come from all over the U.S. and Canada to show their respects today. On behalf of General President Ed Kelly and over 300,000 members of the IFF and President Donnie Youngward of the Professional Firefighters of Arizona and myself, I want to start today by thanking you, the families of our fallen heroes, for allowing us as firefighters, your large extended family, to share this space and this time with you. Thank you for allowing us to remember and honor your sacrifice and your heroism as well as that of our fallen brothers. All of us are truly blessed by being with you today. The book of John says, "I will not leave you as orphans, I will come for you." So following in the example that Jesus set in the New Testament, firefighters from all over came here for you in the beginning of this tragedy. We remain and we will be here for as long as each of you will have us. Each of you is a hero. You've displayed the same strength, the same dedication of purpose, the same willingness to walk into the unknown that your loved ones did. You too have answered the bell and you've responded to care for your families, to raise children, comfort parents, friends, and siblings while bearing your own unbearable grief. It takes not only a lot of guts and incredible strength to soldier on, but wisdom and caring. We're all so proud of you and care so much for each and every one of you. Your dads, your brothers, your sons, your best friends, husbands, and grandsons, they were heroes. They are heroes. They were tough, rugged individualists who were nevertheless unselfish, sharing, caring, giving members of an elite team that regularly, despite what they may have told you, regularly put themselves in harm's way to protect people they never met, communities that they'd never been to. In other words, they were firefighters. Ironically, in this world, fire can be a lot like people. You can be good guys, good fire, and bad fire. And the rest of humanity counts on groups like hotshots to police it, keep it in check, and when the genie gets too far out of the bottle, to put it back in. Each of our fallen heroes, and many others who are here today who wear the uniforms, whether blue or green, can be counted on as a good guy with a drip torch. We will never forget them. I don't think it's any secret either that in addition to the obvious sense of loss and grief that fell on all of us, but especially you in the immediate aftermath of the tragedy, that there were many other challenges that lay ahead for the families and the surviving Prescott firefighters. Some were longer term, some were more immediate. It took a small army to work every issue. Some of these individuals you know, you're aware of their efforts, some you don't. But I'd like to take a moment to mention some of these leaders. They include former Governor Jan Brewer and Governor Hobbs in her earlier role as a state legislature, moving rapidly to fix line of duty death survivor health care. And that happened in a matter of days. Retired Chief Dan Fryhoe, Prescott chapter leader Dan Bates, who represented their members and their families in a diligent and dignified manner. Troy Lettrick, Pruitt Small, and others who wrote and put our daily plans into actionable plans every single day so that nothing got missed. Past 100 Club President Sharon Felix, who raised and managed donations for survivors from around the world. To name a few, Ray Mayone, Butch Hampton, Jim Brinkley, Tim Fletcher, Kevin Roach, Brian Moore, Carrie Ramella, and over 20 family liaisons who laid it all on the line for countless hours and days, sometimes weeks, months, and even years, to everything from plan and carry out an appropriate public memorial to individual memorial services, as well as fighting to make sure that families receive their deserved benefits and to care for all who were affected by this tragedy up to today. Also, to all the leaders of the IFF on every national, state, and local level who poured every resource into Prescott that was available. There are many others who contributed and many who continue to help all of us recover from this tragic event. We thank you and we appreciate all of you. Let our public thanks today also be a reassurance to you, the community, and the families that whether we wear blue or we wear green, all of us, along with you, are still part of that great extended family, and families never end. And that neither our fallen brothers nor you our living heroes, will ever be forgotten or left behind. We will not have to come for you because we have always been here, and we will remain with you. We will not leave you. In closing, all of us can best memorialize our fallen by acting on the qualities that made them the men and the team that they were. All of us should strive to be what I believe they would want us to be. Not what they would want us to be, those are individual choices, but to make a difference every day. Who would they want their brother and sister firefighters to be? Who would they want their children to be? I think they would say, be strong, be kind, be determined, be willing to walk into the unknown for yourself and others, be self-disciplined while being tolerant of others, treat each other with honor and integrity while rushing in to make a difference every day. In other words, be hot shots in life. Thank you.
At this time, it is my great honor to introduce our featured speaker for the afternoon, Ryder Ashcraft, the son of Andrew Ashcraft.
All right.
Just let that blue mic up.
Thanks.
Right up to your mic.
Recently, I turned 16. I was blessed with a car, new responsibilities, and an entirely new sense of freedom. And along with all these awesome things, I was reminded of the power held by words. 16. How much that number symbolizes, or other numbers. 18. Becoming an adult. Or 19. 19 irreplaceable lives lost. Words, numbers, phrases, the power of these things comes from the fact that they are all symbols. They mean more to me and they mean more to you than the simple keystrokes that they are. Symbols are some of the most fundamental parts of a person. So, picture a dark room. Peaceful, quiet. Then picture my dad, Andrew. 6. That's how old I was during this memory. And I wish I could remember what I was thinking about at the time, whatever sweet dream I may have been having. But he shook me awake and spoke softly, making sure not to wake my two brothers. And he told me, son, you're the man of the house while I'm gone. Take care of our family, protect mom, and I love you. To him, those words held reassurance and provided him a sense of security while he was away. He knew he was leaving his family at home while he went to provide for us. That was one last moment of connection he made sure to have with me while I was still home, and while he was still home with me. At that time, his words probably meant something very similar to me. I bet I felt proud. The responsibility of our house and our family, such a large task for a 6-year-old, but I felt good about it. How could I have known that I would never hear his voice again? His words to me in the quiet of my room that night don't symbolize the same thing anymore. Instead, they're now his final message to me. Those words will now stick with me for the rest of my life, and they have built the foundation for the life I now live. How could I have known in that moment that my dad would step back, fade into the shadows of my room, and leave me for the rest of my life with only faint memories? I mean, really, I couldn't have. And I question that about the world sometimes. I believe that far too often we misjudge moments. We allow words said or time spent to fly by without appreciation for them. Why do we do this? We need to bestow more value on the words we hear and speak. Our hearts cannot afford to treat something so monumental as mundane. We all have our own meaningful memories, memories that are now so powerful they play key roles in who we are, yet in the moment, they may have felt ordinary. Life is funny that way. We miss valuable moments by taking them for granted. We're fooled by the assumption that we'll have those opportunities again. And I'm here to tell you, there's never a guarantee you're going to have the next day with the ones you love. And today is a hard one for all of us. However, June 30th will be a birthday to one, an anniversary to another. A date, a word, or a symbol can truly mean different things to different people. This is a perfect example. This white bracelet I wear on my wrist has guided me through the hardest moments in my life, yet the manufacturer probably doesn't bat an eye. And to me, this bracelet is a symbol for my dearest values, and it ignites my mission in life. It is the root of my choices and my memories. It was also a gift from my dad. He gave each of us in our family a bracelet and called them our Be Better bands. He wore his faithfully as a commitment to live every day of his life better than the one before it. His goal was inspiring and long-lasting. My goal with this speech is twofold. First, to encourage all who hear these words to live a life of meaning, noticing the beautiful moments that far too often fall between the cracks. The most content and courageous people I know share this 30,000-foot view. Second, to encourage everyone here to adopt the value of this symbol. This bracelet stands for a powerful choice, an intentional choice my dad made before he died, and a choice he encouraged my family and me to make as well. It's simple. Bitter or better? Who do you want to be? Will you be bitter, trapped within hard times and hopelessly unsettled about things in the past? Or do you want to be better, desiring to be the best person you can be and making the world around you a better place? Symbols are everywhere. Which ones hold significance to you? Think about getting ready in the morning. Looking in the mirror, you see the 6-year-old you staring back in your reflection. This is the child who will one day become you. And this time, the road that lies ahead is an unknown. It's no secret that the older we become, the more scars we carry. Head to toe, we wear these scars as a reminder of the times that have hurt us. Think for a moment, what would your life be like now if back then you committed to live with the motto, be better? To not get into that mess or talk like that to that person. To take that risk or put more energy into that passion. If you had chosen right then and there that it was time to step up and be the best version of yourself, would that little kid have grown up to be the person you are now? Here's the good news. My dad always said it's never too late to become what you might have been. I've chosen to adopt my dad's motto and be better. Will you? Of course, no one will do it perfectly, but if we give it our best, we will be successful. I credit all my success to the mentality instilled in me by both my parents. I've been raised to not let downfall control my success. If bitterness has a grip on you, choose today to let it go. Don't continue to let the weight of heartaches and hardships drag you down. Instead, look ahead. I love my dad. My intentional commitment to live a life as a better person every day is the way I remember him and honor him. This symbol I wear on my wrist is how I carry on his legacy. And I believe that he's not done saving lives. Neither are his 18 crewmates. Now, however, they must save lives through us. We may not be running into a forest fire, but every single day we're given the opportunity to make a lasting impact in this world. So do not choose to be crippled by grief. Don't choose to hurt one another or give up on yourself. It's a long road to truly assume the responsibility of being the man of the house. I'm still a young man doing my best to learn as I go. However, one thing I can do to fill a little bit of my dad's shoes is to teach others to be better. And I have a choice to make. Be resentful for the life lost or thankful for the life I still have. I know what my dad would want me to do. I stand here as a testament that gratitude is the antidote to grief. I left my life because I live it with the best intentions of being better every day. So make a stand for that child in the mirror. Promise them today that when you look back at this version of you, 10 years from now, you'll have touched countless hearts. You'll have made a difference in your circle of influence. You'll have shaken the world just a bit as a better you. Don't get hung up on the valleys of life. Instead, set an example that will turn into a legacy. The Granite Mountain Hotshots, my dad and his friends, spoke this mantra within their crew: esse quam videri, a Latin phrase meaning to be rather than to seem to be. My dad was always good on his word. He never asked me to do something he wouldn't do himself. He was selfless and caring to all those around him. Even at a young age, it was clear to me that it wasn't enough just to say the right words. You must make the decision to do the right thing. He showed me that to be better, you have to be authentic. People who live a life of betterment also embody resiliency. They understand it's not about how many times you get knocked down, no, but rather how many times you get back up. That grit leads you to give yourself to those around you, to spend your time in the service of your neighbor, and not living only for yourself. The entire job of being a hotshot is to save people from dangers they don't know are coming. It isn't a job you do for yourself, but to save those around you. This example guides my decisions and my energies to this day. Their lives are over. That's a hard truth that I will wrestle with for the rest of my life. However, on the flip side of that coin, their deaths provide a platform for this conversation, a fire inside to make them proud and exemplify their grit and strength. And I wonder how many lives we could touch as a community if we all chose joy. May we honor our fallen by standing taller and by sharing their messages. Never forget the souls and symbols that made the Granite Mountain Hotshots who they were. They left a powerful legacy, a mission with a momentum that even death can't defeat. And I love you, Dad. I hope I'm making you proud, and I choose to be better, just like you.
All right, you may be seated. Okay, as we bring this ceremony to a close, getting closer, I should say, I'd like to offer some remarks on behalf of the Prescott Fire Department, our Deputy Chief Tom Knapp, my entire command staff, and all of the men and women of the Prescott Fire Department. 10 years have gone by, so what happens now? It seems like an agonizing eternity and a blink of an eye all at the same time. 10 years is significant because it's more than just a number. It's a turning point and a reminder that this tragedy will not define us. Instead, it will help us live with more gratitude, more purpose, and more compassion. So, 10 years is a springboard for hope. Last night, I issued an advisory to our department to place all flags at half staff today and to return them to full staff at sunset this evening. When those flags arrive at full staff tonight, we will look forward with a lot of pride and tradition in our heart, but our eyes resolutely on a hopeful future. We often get asked what has changed since June 30th, 2013. The question usually focuses on initiatives and policy, and sure, there has been a lot of change since that day. But today is not that day. Today is a day where I humbly stand before you to tell you that nothing has changed that really matters. We've simply gotten better and stronger. This loss is not owned by any one entity or individual. Sure, it is absolutely felt the most by our families and especially the children of our brothers. So to illustrate this shared sense of ownership, I'd like to offer this. To the community, you have grieved with us for 10 years. The 19 were your students, your coaches, your friends, your teammates, and your neighbors. Our loss is your loss, and we share a common resolve never to forget. Your Prescott Fire Department is using this sense of shared community to connect us closer to you, now and into the future. So what happens now? Exactly the same thing that's happened since 1885. We'll protect you with the duty and honor we have always had, and we are ready. We just do it now with an even greater sense of community and purpose. To the region and the state, our history will always tell this story. The town of Yarnell is now a place that many beyond the borders of the United States know about. To all of you in Yarnell, that's notoriety you've never asked for. And our story sometimes overshadows the reality of the homes lost in your community and the lives that were also changed forever. And the Copper State has another example of the duty and sacrifice to all Arizonans. So what happens now is that we will tell our history with the same sense of duty and honor that our hotshots displayed. But we will move forward with a greater depth of appreciation for what being an Arizonan means to us all. To the fire service in Arizona and the nation, many who surround the square today, and including many of the labor organizations that have helped us. To say thank you seems to fall short of the gratitude we feel in our hearts for all of you. Our departments and the families of our fallen will be there for you when the unthinkable happens. We will continue to pay it forward through kindness and collaboration in everything that our department touches, including the charity work so many of our members and families are a part of. So what happens now is that we will be there for you when you need us, just like we always have. We will just do it with a greater sense of responsibility to each other. To our partners with the state and federal agencies, It's really hard for outsiders to Prescott to understand that the color of a uniform, the patch on a shoulder, and jurisdictional boundaries, they don't mean much here. That's because you are our neighbors, our friends, our mentors. And like in everything else in this tragedy, you are us, and we are you. So what happens now is that we will roll up our sleeves and continue to do what we have always done, to work on adapting and protecting our communities in one of the most biodiverse areas of the country from the wildfire threats we face together. We will just do it now with an even greater sense of responsibility. To our department, our brother Brendan, CAFMA, and all public safety partners here, including the Prescott Police Department and the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. None of you have ever wanted to be members of an exclusive number of fire departments that have faced this kind of grief. When you look around today, you don't see many of our department members here, and that's not because we don't care, quite the opposite. Our motto, community first, courage, grit, and duty, excellence in all we do, is what we live. The way we grieve and show respect is to be at work and to quietly make the impact we hope to have. That part of our DNA, that's the Granite Mountain Hotshot DNA, to be rather than to seem. Our 19 would not have felt comfortable at a ceremony like this, I can tell you that. It is our ethos to show up quietly, fix a problem, and go back to the station, and not to look for recognition. So what happens now is that we will continue to focus on our culture. We'll just do it with a quiet sense of gratitude and our eyes on a hopeful future. Most importantly, to the families. To you, the question of what happens now is not just a rhetorical statement. The ceremony will end and you will go back to your life. The media attention will again fade, and the business of your life will resume. But we will continue to work with you to face the difficult questions ahead, together. We will stand with you in solidarity and support, and we will especially support the children, and we'll have our doors and our hearts open. We will continue to evolve with you. As more time passes, your needs will change, and we will be there to adapt with you to meet those needs where we can. So, we will do what we have always done, to continue to make sense of the incomprehensible together. We will just do it with an even greater understanding of each other's differences and our common bond. In closing, I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank our dignitaries for showing their support. Once again, I want to thank our city management and the council for supporting our department. All the governmental entities and politics can sometimes overshadow the reason why we're here, and that is to make the community better. And your presence here today is a testament to that. You are all just as dedicated public servants as those of us in uniform are. So like the rest of our partners, you are us, and we are you. Thank you also to the incident management team that came together in the fall of last year to plan this event. To you, I simply say, job well done. You have exceeded my leader's intent, and I am grateful. Thank you. God bless our city, and God bless all of you.
Where to carry colors? Carry colors.
At this time, would you please join me in a moment of silence?
Prescott. Forward. Mark. Oh.
That concludes our ceremony for this afternoon. If you would like, you may gather by the pipes and drum to observe their playing. Thank you again for coming out, and travel safe.